Mark, did you see, you got in here from site committee?
It's in here.
Where is there?
Third sheet from the back. Fourth sheet from the back.
Just before Mike's
Okay.
Yep.
At 7 o'clock, call this meeting of the Pinconning Area School Board to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Anderson,
Present.
Doobie,
Present.
Palmaville,
Here.
Rabish here, Kuchar,
Present.
Bedifer absent.
Just like the board to know that our two members who normally make motions and second are not here, so if we want to move this forward, someone else has to step up. With that, are there any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda?
Yeah, I'd make, well, the non-consent, we're gonna add, letter B, the soccer field irrigation system.
Okay, any other additions, deletions? All right, if not, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Thank you, both. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Community comments. Normally this is on the agenda items. I typically do open it up, so if there's anybody who wants to make comments, I know we have a lot to do tonight. I'll try to get through to hear everybody, whether it's now, but there's another public comment section towards the end of the meeting, but I'd like to take care of some people now if they'd like to be heard. Anybody?
I'll get mine done out of the way soon.
All right, Mr.
I don't
Holstein.
mind. Yeah. So I came again tonight. I came here a couple years ago, January 13th, 2020, to talk to the board and about some disparities in the complexes between baseball and softball. So I kind of wanted to go through some things again tonight to bring it back to the forefront because things still haven't gotten done. So with Title IX, facilities are a common compliance problem under Title IX, and most of the time it's with the quality of the softball and the baseball fields being the main concern. And then which the Office for Civil Rights has shown a willingness to conduct modified reviews at secondary schools in which they will visit campus to review just the baseball and softball fields. We have some amazing businesses in town, donors in the Pinconning area, and it's important to note that the source of the funding is irrelevant under Title IX. It is the responsibility of the school board and the administrators to ensure equitable accommodations under both the boys and the girls sports. Booster club money, other donations, fundraising dollars do not relieve the institution of its obligation to make the facilities equivalent. The many features to be reviewed by the Office for Civil Rights include playing surface, dugouts, scoreboard, fencing, batting cages, bullpen areas, lights, equipment storage, press boxes, spectator seating, concessions, restrooms, locker rooms, and umpire rooms, locker rooms. A lot of those for the softball field and baseball field are the same. Like playing surfaces, I think everyone can agree that they're pretty equitable. Fencing, batting cages, lighting, equipment storages. The disparities come in mildly with a bullpen. You have a fenced-in bullpen with a plate for pitching mound, and the plate for the home plate. The softball field doesn't have a fenced-in area. It's not well kept. The plates are crooked. Other differences, the scoreboard. After years, the softball scoreboard not functioning properly, a new one was finally installed. It didn't work all season correctly. And I guess requests to have that improved were not complied with, or they didn't follow through anyways. So we resorted to using a non-functioning scoreboard for the whole season. electrical in the softball dugouts didn't work all season. When I came a few years ago, like I said, January 13th, 2020, to the meeting, that spring, almost immediately, some dugouts were threw up for the softball field. I thought, hey, great, we're gonna make some progress. And then I looked, and I see, okay, the baseball dugouts are constructed of split-face stone concrete blocks, which cost about $4.50 a block. They have rubber matted dugouts so that your cleats don't grind on the concrete. The girls' are constructed of standard concrete blocks, which didn't get painted until somebody painted it with some see-through paint. And they're $2 a block. I guess you consider that similar in quality as far as structural integrity, but in appearance, it's obviously not. And it shows the girls in the community that the money's being put towards the baseball fields. The baseball dugouts also have heaters, electrical outlets that function properly, so they can use fans for cooling. They have a properly functioning scoreboard. So I'm sure most of you have been to a softball game, baseball game, right? Everybody in here?
Tony, you got about 30 seconds left.
Okay. Well, the attendance is about the same. So as far as the number of seating, they should be equal. They're not. Spectator seating, I'll get right to that so I can get through my 30 seconds. There are different levels of quality of spectator seating. Wood benches, steel benches, or stadium seating with armrests and seat backs. According to Title IX, they should be comparable between the two fields. I think we can all say that that is no way comparable. We put up twice the amount of seating on the baseball field. That money could have been easily split and put stadium seating at each location, but we didn't. We let the girls down again. So I do, as many others, feel that there's difference in the quality between this baseball fields complex and the softball complex, an obvious violation of Title IX. That aside, let's say you do believe the facility are not a violation of Title IX.
Tony,
Walk up and look at the complex
can you just make
and
one
see
final
what
comment?
the girls see. Look out at the complex and see what the girls see. That they're not worth the effort and the money that the boys are. Now maybe you see a difference in the possibility that there is a Title IX
Tony,
violation.
I need to.
It is not worth moving forward
Tony,
to correct the differences
stop, please.
or have
Stop.
a complaint filed.
Everybody's
Hey,
heard.
I'm almost done.
No,
So it's either-
you have 4 minutes. That's it. Sit down, please. Anybody like to go
So-
next?
I'm pretty sure we'll see things moving forward. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in, Tony.
Yeah.
A lot of people here. I gotta keep you guys to 4 minutes.
I understand.
Anybody else like to go? Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to the next business consent agenda.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda and pay the bills totaling $922,810.77.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? I'd like to acknowledge Nicole Jones as part of this, accept her resignation. She's been here for about a decade. She came in with Linda and I. She's done a fantastic job. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. If you know Nicole, you know what kind of heart she has, and she's really fought for the students and to get some really good stuff, good programs here and any of the student discipline. She's a very caring individual and cares deeply about this school, the students, and our community as a whole. And I would just like to thank her for her service, as I know the rest of the board members. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So we have any other discussion on that motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Doobie,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Palmaville,
Yes.
Rabish, yes. Kuchar,
Yes.
5-0.
Motion carries. Thank you. Communication, Mr. View.
Thank you, Mr. Kuchar. Got some good news, actually. State budget numbers came in, and looks like a pretty favorable budget for K-12 education. Some areas that were of importance to our district. Per pupil funding increased by $450 per student, which is a nice, very nice bump. Brings the total funding to $91.50. There was an increase in at-risk dollars for students who have challenges either academically or socioeconomically. Another area that got a boost was increasing certified teachers in areas of shortage. There's some money out there to help get teachers in those areas that we're having trouble finding teachers. There's also been some additional dollars in mental health supports. We have, I believe there's a new categorical specifically for mental health needs for the district, so that's another area that we're gonna see an increase. Also, student safety, I wanna see exactly how that money is, how we can spend that. It's not in the form of grants like we've been seeing. This one is actually, again, a categorical to use for safety purposes. So that's something I think we'll have the policy committee, or once we know how those dollars can be spent, we'll look and see how we can supplement our safety in our schools. And then they had expanded some early childhood learning opportunities. So overall, that was with the Great Start GSRP programs. So definitely some nice boosts in those areas. I just want to backtrack too, as far as Mrs. Jones. It was good to have her on the board, and I'll miss her. She's been here a long time. And also Gina Moran was a GSRP teacher. She's been here several years, and she resigned as well. But definitely don't want to forget those folks. Any questions on the budget?
No.
Facilities. We've had some projects that have been ongoing, and I've been trying to keep the board up to date. You can see the soccer field is near completion. We added the irrigation bids today to the non-consent agenda. Those will be, if approved, that will be something we'll have to install, and then they'll have to seed it, and then basically later in the fall, that's when it's going to be hydro-seeded after the irrigation's done. Lighting project we've been working on, putting LED lights in throughout the district. That process has been going pretty well. Chris, have you had any updates on?
They're working. They're here, they're working in buildings. I'm not, John and Sarah might be able to tell you better where they're at within their buildings, but I know they are actively working.
Definitely a big bonus when you go into the rooms. You can definitely see a lot better. I know Mr. Sanford was quite happy with the work done at Central so far. That's where they started. Asphalt projects that you approved last week are being scheduled, and the line striping and some of the crack sealing are going to be. Those are also scheduled. So, any questions on any other facility questions? All right. Superintendent transition, as everyone knows, I will be transitioning to the Bay Area ISD, Bayerneck ISD, as of August 1st. But I will be continuing to be in the district for throughout August. So I plan on being at our next board meeting. The superintendent at Bayerneck is going to be there through August, so there'll be a transition period. So I can work with her, and then I can also work with, if we get a candidate selected here in the future, which tonight you'll be selecting those candidates for interviews, and you'll go through that process later. But definitely looking to stay on board to make sure there's a smooth transition here after 25 years of being in this great district. So, any questions?
Questions for me? Thank you. Reports from administrative staff.
I'd just like to read a quick letter. Dear board members, superintendent, Steve, and fellow administrators, I want to take this time to thank you for the opportunity of work with all of you these past 5 years for PASC. When I started here as a teacher, I never would have imagined I'd be exiting as an administrator. Not just an administrator, but one that was among the many that survived the COVID pandemic. My success as an administrator was not solely due to my knowledge and skills, but rather that of the collective group. Together, we came together as a team and faced many challenges. We supported and trusted the process and the persons involved. Although these challenges brought on additional stress, we always seemed to come out stronger and better. Each day seemed to bring new issues, but we were swift to respond and put plans into action that minimize the disruption to the educational routines. I often reflect on these events as I prepare to become a retired educator. Don't ask me what that will look like, because I'm not sure yet. But I do know this: I will face this new chapter following my mantra. Do what is right, not what is easy. I know I'm doing the right thing. It took the words of a dear and wise friend to remind me of exactly this. This is what I'm supposed to do now, even if it's not going to be easy. Daily, I practice those words to do all I could do that was in the best interest of my students, family, and staff. Moving forward, I ask each of you to do the very same. The district now too faces a new challenge as you seek to fill the superintendent role. Mr. View remains a valued leader, supporter of the community, and a positive voice for Pinconning. When hired as superintendent in 2011, the board president, Gary Yarrow, stated that Mike carries a distinction that no previous superintendent could claim. All these years later, that statement remains true. Mr. View will never truly be replaced. However, as you search for that someone that will become the new superintendent, make sure you continue to support PASD, our vision and educational goals, and all will be fine. As the caretakers of the district, remember, you must do what feels right for the district, not what is easy. Having worked closely with many of the staff these past couple of years, I assure you, Pinconning is at a pivotal point for continued positive change. The results of the hard work are becoming visible and will only continue to expand. Help keep the momentum going. Continue to support the administrators and teachers so they can provide superior educational experience for the entire community. Pinconning students deserve nothing less than the best. I leave here very excited about what will happen in the near future for the district. I will continue to support you while watching from a distance and celebrate all the successes that occur. If anyone asks next year, just tell them Christine said so. Go green, go white, go Spartans, and Shireen out. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Nice job, thank you. Any other administrator? No?
Want to follow that. So honestly, just some information for the public that our orientation is going to be August 17th, 18th. The middle school is on the 17th. The 18th is high school. Of course, congratulations to Mr. View on his new position, and Ms. Jones for all of her great use of service.
Anybody else? No? All right, thank you, administrators. Site committee.
We met on the 12th to discuss the paving that we talked about, that we budgeted for. And after looking at it, the bus barn parking lot, we approved to pave that. The Linwood east side, the east side of Linwood, we're gonna pave, but we are not going to pave the overflow parking. We are going to put crushed gravel in there, have them come in and compact it, and see where it goes from there. That's more of an overflow than it really is a parking lot. And then the high school lot, we want to finish up to the warehouse because the forklifts come off there, and they really need to have that. So that little bit is going to be done, and then they're going to restripe and fill the cracks. And then we did a change order for the lights. The lights, once they put in the new lighting system, the new bulbs, the LEDs, the covers that are on there is deflecting the light. So we just did a change order that Mike was going to take care of to give it a better grid. We have to do something. And Mount Forest, the logging. We're gonna, Mike was gonna get with Mr. Compo to start logging that off. We've discussed it for the last 5-6 years. And to complete the cross-country track that we want to do out there, we've had 3 different people go out and look at 3 different loggers. We took the best bid that we got to have them do it. And this way it will open that up we're actually, if, without logging it off, we're doing more harm than good. So there's a lot of dead trees in there, and we just get some new growth in there, get that cut up and cleaned up.
Thanks. Any questions? All right, thank you. Non-consent agenda. Item A is the superintendent interview candidates. So the completion date, or I should say the target date for applications was last Wednesday. On Thursday morning, early afternoon, all the board members were sent either digital copies or they could pick up hard copies of all of the credentials that each candidate submitted. We ended up having 9 total, of which I believe 8 of them had all the credentials they needed or were able to get them. I think there was just one that didn't have any educational experience or education at all. But I think there's definitely viable candidates. So with that being said, discussion for who we would like to interview. We can put a number, a cap on it, or we can look at all the ones that I think are viable. So any suggestions?
Yeah, you would just suggest a person and people can discuss.
Well, you can make as far as this, you can make a motion for everybody that you want, or we can discuss ones that we want and come to a consensus motion. We can just discuss them person by person and yes, no.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think Chris Arlington,
Okay.
with all the experience and stuff he has, go through the information, I thought he would be a viable candidate.
Yeah, he was a good one for me too.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Chris Arrington?
I also said Andy Walter.
I was interested in talking to Wes Johnson with his experience also.
And then I have Kathy Calawalo.
Yep.
Chris stood out for me also.
Yep.
So that gives us 4 at the moment. Stephen Clark seemed like a good candidate to me.
I had him on my list
Stephen
also.
Clark.
Yeah.
I also have Alice.
Allison Woolman.
Yeah.
I had her too, again, kind of on the outside. It's just a matter, she was probably number 5 or 6 for me.
Right.
We definitely, so it's just a matter of what we want to do. Is there any other candidates? I mean, these are probably my top 6 right there. The other ones, and one we couldn't actually get a hold of, Rachel Ignani. She was kind of the outside looking in for me, but what I did is I had Catherine contact all these individuals, all 9 individuals, and let them know that we received their application and that we would make a decision tonight as far as who we were going to interview, and that we plan to do interviews on Wednesday and Thursdays, so we'll check their availability, give them a week's notice hopefully. And pretty much everybody was open. The only thing is Allison Williman would only be a Zoom meeting. Again, these will all be conducted in public. So do we want to go with the top, what I was looking at is the top 4, maybe an hour and a half interview each to get in depth. If we go with 6, maybe we do an hour, and if you don't think there's a clear cut winner, you want to bring back 2, maybe 3 for a second interview, perhaps next Monday and Tuesday. I guess what's the preference? Do you want to try to do these 6 and either we see a candidate or we at least identify 2 or 3 that we want to bring back for a second tier? So do you want to do all 6 or you want to try to get this down to?
That's what I was figuring, 5 and 6 at most.
Okay.
I agree. That's what the consensus is with this board, is those 5 or 6 that we've thrown out there. Let's interview them, because each one of us seen something in somebody, right?
Okay. Then, Chris, you're available like after roughly 4 o'clock on Thursday?
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, anytime.
And then Thursday is good for everybody, or is there any other, Thursday morning's not good for you, right?
I know. what it is the next
Well, I guess what I'm looking
week.
at,
Are we looking at this week or next week?
this week, Wednesday, Thursday, particularly I'm looking at 4 o'clock to 7 or 8 o'clock at night by the time we get done. If we can schedule them at 4, 5, and 6, and then maybe be done at 7 or 7:30, something like that.
You're thinking Wednesday?
This
or-
Wednesday, Thursday, and then if we need to do a second round, I'm thinking hopefully next Monday, Tuesday, because if we can then, obviously we need to negotiate a contract with whoever we choose, and then they will need to give notice to their employer. And if we can get somebody on here before the teachers report, I would love it. That's kind of the timeline. I know it's quick, but I'd like to get this done. So does that work? Wednesday, Thursday, 4 o'clock or after to?
I can do Wednesday at 4, Thursday after 4, because I have
Okay.
an appointment in another one.
Maybe more like 5 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, in that case, I just need a motion to interview the 6 candidates that we mentioned, and we will schedule them Wednesday, Thursday, afternoon, evening, and if need be, maybe we can do 4 of them on Wednesday. So maybe we can do 4, 5, 6, and 7, then maybe do 4 and 5, or 5 and 6 for Linda, and then we can deliberate who we want to bring back. Again, that'll all this part obviously is in public, the interviews will all be public, we'll post those, and our deliberation of who we are going to bring back for a second interview or hire will be all discussed out and open. If there's second interviews, those again will be posted and out in the open. So the public will be notified and are welcome to come. There will be time for public comment, but all the interview questions will come from here. So if there's a candidate you like, or that you want to come say something either before they speak, or probably afterwards, something you liked, something of that nature, there'll be a small chance for public comment on each of those candidates, and when we deliberate, that's kind of the public's role in this. Any questions? All right, if not, any motion?
I'll make a motion that we bring in those 6 candidates for interviews for superintendent position.
Do we have to put their names?
Can you give me the 6 just last name?
Arrington, Walchuk, Johnson, Anawalo, Clark, and Wellman. All right, so we have a motion for those 6 individuals for interviewing on Wednesday, Thursday. Support, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Palmville,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Doobie,
Yes.
Rabish, yes, Kuchar,
Yes,
5-0.
thank you, motion carries. Next, on the non-consent agenda is the soccer field irrigation.
I make a motion that we approve the bid to Marlowe Company for the installation of the soccer field irrigation system at a cost not to exceed $22,850.
Motion support, any discussion? Again, roll call vote, please.
Doobie,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Palmville,
Yes.
Rabish, yes, Kuchar,
Yes,
5-0.
thank you, motion carries. All right, we're back to public comment. Anyone like to address the board? Yes, ma'am, could you stand up, say your
My
name?
name's Amanda Voss. I am one of the teachers here at Head Start in Pinconning. I brought some of our flyers in case anybody wants to help us spread the word. We do take 3-year-olds, so we're in the market for some 3 and 4-year-olds. We are in a partnership with the GSRP, so if you take one of these flyers, parents can sign up for GSRP and Head Start all at all of our information. So if you know anyone, please spread the word for us. We do have openings still, I know, so.
Is that based on income at all?
What's that?
Is that based on income at all?
Yes. It is. It's free for qualifying families, but please have them sign up or check it out anyways, because just in case they qualify for some reason. So spread the word if you'd like some. I have some up here. Just wanted to let everyone know.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
Go ahead.
Just a sec.
I just want to say the soccer field, it's been really cool to watch the progression from when they started tearing it down to digging it up. And my son goes, "Are soccer fields really that big?" I'm like, "I don't know what they're doing." And they're fighting the seagulls, but it's really cool to see it. Then I saw it today, so I was like, "Oh, yay." So, because I have a son who will get to play, so thank you. So we're glad that you guys have approved all this and they're getting the soccer field. And yes, so thank you.
All right, thank you.
Beth James, alumna, class of 98. Okay. I'd like to conclude Tony's comments. I believe, as do many others, that the differences in quality between the baseball and softball complex is an obvious violation of Title IX. That aside, let's say that you believe the facilities are not a violation of Title IX. Walk out and look at the complex and see what the girls see, that they are not worth as much effort, they're not worth as much money as boys. Now, maybe you see a difference and a possibility of a Title IX violation. Is it worth not moving forward to correct the differences and having a Title IX complaint filed? Which, by the way, is inevitable if things don't change by spring. FOIA requests have been made, and that is the conclusion of Tony Holstein's remarks. I agree with Mr. Holstein's remarks. I'd also like to reiterate the source of funding is irrelevant under Title IX. It is the school board and the administrator's responsibility to ensure equitable accommodations are made for both boys and girls sports. I'd also like to add my own opinion. I'm disappointed that this damaging message seems perfectly fine with a lot of my hometown. Pinconning should want as much good for their daughters as they do for their sons. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else like to address the board? Long time no see, Ms. Bauer.
Yeah. I just want to piggyback off of this softball thing. So, everybody knows who I am, Lana Bauer. I don't have a child playing softball, but I do have a son coming up playing baseball at some point, I'm sure in the future. I know there's been a lot of question as to the Title IX, and I think maybe it's time for the board to kind of give some explanation at some point, give us some resources to research that as to what violations we're seeing and that type of a thing, because I'll be honest, I'm not quite up to date on Title IX and how that works. I do know that I'm involved in fundraising quite a bit. And so when we're talking Title IX, we're talking fundraising, we're talking private donors and people coming forth. I'm trying to figure out where that comes into play. Like, I know we still have to have, equitable, similar services and in equipment and whatnot. But does the board tell donors no if they can't make equal adjustments to both complexes? And I know it's kind of hard because there's only boys football. There's only there's one soccer field. All of the basketball people use the same gym. So this is kind of like one of those odd thing outs where they have different fields. And I know that there are so many people in our community, and a lot of them are here, that are putting time and energy and money into helping make these things better. And I don't want any of this to be overshadowing that and scare off people who are willing to contribute. Because you know how the 80-20 rule works. And I feel like in the school district, it's more of a 95-5. You got 5% of the people giving their time, their energy, and their money, and the other 95% are utilizing it, but they don't necessarily know, and they're not helping to go forward with that. Your 5% are here, and they want to make things better, and I see that. For instance, we have a middle school club for softball because parents have stepped up to do that. we don't have that for baseball. We would love to see that for baseball, but we don't. So, I mean, I see the differences in the quality of what Tony was saying. I can totally relate. However, there's a lot of things back and forth that you can see, again, fundraising has done. You know, softball, they fundraise for other things. I know that the girls have like 3 uniform jerseys, and I believe baseball only has 1. You know, when and where are we gonna cut that off? Are we just looking at the dugouts? Are we just looking at the stadium seating? Or are we gonna pick apart every little thing? So again, me not knowing how Title IX really works, like where do we go? Where do we stop? Because I don't wanna see us pushing off our private donors and our businesses in the area. I wanna see us encouraging more people to get out and run hard like these people are running and hard, and these businesses and these other people are doing. And they're setting an example, and we want more people to be encouraged to do that. We don't want to discourage them from getting involved. So.
Thank you, Lynn. Anybody else like to address the board? Yes.
I'm kind of gonna address the whole Title IX as well. I'd like to know more about it. As a lot of you know, I have been in fundraising for over 10 years. I deal with schools all over the US.
Again, could you state your name?
Sorry.
So,
Aaron Palmerville. I deal with many groups within this school. Depending on XYZ, baseball might do 3 times what softball does because those parents are pushing that fundraiser. They're going to get a better profit. Why should baseball have to share it with another one when those parents are fundraising for that group? I've run a whole school middle one here. I've done soccer, I've done baseball, I've helped with the football. I have a football Pee-wee league right now in another state. Cookie dough. $20,000 state retail. Why should they have to split it with somebody else? Those parents on that team earn that money. Parents want more, push harder with the fundraisers. Sorry, but I deal with at least 500 schools a year per season. I see it on every different level. It's not fair to the parents, it's not fair to the kids. That push those fundraisers.
thank you.
I need to address just a couple of the comments that were said here by parents. So, I'm part of, my name is Stacy, and I'm part of, I have daughters who play softball, part of the softball program. So regarding fundraising, we do actually do fundraising. We just choose to do it differently. And actually, I think this year was probably one of our largest years of fundraising. I think we, Mike, I don't know if you know the number, but it's probably right around $10,000.
Around 11.
Yeah, so we have money. It's not about, you know, who has more money, who funds more, etc. And then the other correction I'd like to make is regarding uniforms. We actually only have 2 uniforms. The third jersey actually was purchased by me so that we could have jerseys early in the season. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
I will just address some comments actually.
Okay.
Lexi Goldstein, 2021 valedictorian, by the way, in case anyone forgot. And it was previously, if you don't know Title IX, you can go on any government website and look it up. That's what many of us have done. And you can see it doesn't matter how much fundraising. That's why the law gives the school 2 years to bring things up to date. And now that is not on, that's not like, nobody's mad at the donors, that's great. Like, everyone's super proud for any improvements in the school. Like, nobody's mad about that. But people just in general tend to care more about boys and boys sports. But that doesn't mean that softball or any other girl organizations don't matter nearly as much. So maybe just if you want to ask the school board for more information, you can look it up.
Thank you.
I still have 30 seconds.
Anybody else like to address the board? Okay, again, I thank everybody for coming out and giving us your feedback and input. Discussion items, anybody?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So, Miss Jones has left us, and that is going to be a seat that has to be filled. Is that something that the board appoints?
Yes, so the process, and Mr. You and I talked with the Michigan Association of School Board attorney to kind of verify what our thinking was. And what we need to do is we need to appoint somebody, like we've done in the past, in the next 30 days. So I think in the next journal will be a posting.
Yeah, I sent it.
And then I think that deadline's around the 17th of August.
Yes.
And that interview process will be just like it is for this upcoming superintendent. It will be in public. We've done it before. So people have to fill out an application, and then we'll ask questions and we will deliberate depending on how many candidates we have. And then we will appoint somebody, I believe at that August 22nd meeting. Is that the right date? So that will be within the 30 days. If we don't have a candidate, then the ISD will appoint somebody to fill that seat because we have to have 7 on the board. And then that vacancy will actually be added to the November election. So on the November ballot, there will actually be 3 positions that need to be filled. Mr. Ravish's seat is up. He's completing 6 years. Mr. Palmaville will be ending his tenure with us. He's filling in for a 2-year term from the last election. And then Ms. Jones will have to be, that will actually, if I remember right, will be a 4-year term. She was just elected in 2020. It's a 6-year term. So whoever wins that will have 2 6-year terms up and a 4-year term that will be on the ballot. That's my understanding at this point. Sound pretty accurate, Mr. View?
Yes.
Okay, good. I know my stuff, at least I do for now.
Well, with that being said, I don't do this probably never, but tonight you're gonna see it. And I'm gonna call you people out. I sat there when my son wrestled and I was gonna make a change. And I've been on this board over 10 years. Lana, it's a good time for you to step up. You want to know about Title IX? I'm serious. You can't make a change if you don't come up here and see what the school board is against. And there's no better time to do it than when there's a seat going to be open. And in November, there's going to be 2 more seats. There's no better time to get your feet wet and see what it's about. You would be a good addition to the school board. So think about it. But you guys, you people sitting out there can't make a change if you're out there complaining and not trying to make a change up here. Because it's not that easy to make changes. You just can't snap your fingers and do it. And this school board, in all these years, has did a lot. And I challenge any of you to get on the ballot and run for school board. Make a change, make a difference.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion items from the board? I just have Mr. View. I can't say enough. I know Linda, Nicole, myself, talked about it many times because we went to professional conferences together and we talked to other board members. We talked to other superintendents from around the state. And sir, I believe we've had one of the finest superintendents in the entire state. And as much as I hate to see you go, because we had 3 more years now, we're supposed to do that, that you deserve this, and I'm excited for the rest of the county to get to know you, the rest of the ISD to get to know you and understand where our excellence in Pinconning started from. You're the nucleus, friend.
Well, Mr. Kuchar, I wasn't ready for my farewell speech tonight. But I will definitely take that into account. It's been It's been my life. It's what I poured my soul into. I'll leave it at that.
Anybody else? Right, no, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Motion support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
What's that?